Okay, we are ready to go. So welcome to the Zoom session this morning. Just want you to, whether you're sitting on your mat or sitting on a chair, we don't normally have a chair in Pilates, but it was nice and handy for me today. In any seated position, just make yourself nice and comfortable. And just before I go any further, Pauline, how's my sound back here?
Yeah, it's fine, thank you.
Okay, so in Pilates, we always want to be thinking about our key principle of alignment, which is our posture. So even in this seated position, me sitting on a chair or you sitting on a mat, I want you to find the center of your sit bones. So what's that mean is there's our little pelvis there, and we're not sort of slouched down. You know, we're nice and tall and long. So that's the center of our sit bone, all the way up through the whole spine. Just for a moment, we'll just relax in this position, settling down. And I want you to take a big breath in through your nose and breathe out through the mouth. Just use our first couple of breaths to relax the body, breathing in nice and tall. And breathing out. And just as we're doing our first breaths, just run a mental scan through your whole body and just checking for any tension or tightness, because we want to just release and let that go. Breathing in through our nose to our standard Pilates. It's our lateral breathing. In through the nose. Think about expanding wide out into the armpits. And fully exhale. Fully emptying your lungs before you take your next in-breath. Now I'm going to bring your awareness to your pelvic floor, abdominal zip. So there's lots of ways we explain the engagement of the core, the deep abdominals, but the deep abdominals always starts with the pelvic floor. So it's just a little drawing up and breathing in through the nose and out through the mouth. And just imagine that pelvic floor rising on your out breath. So just taking these first few moments to connect to the core. So everything we do with the body and Pilates is about the core, key Pilates principle. Just like a little internal zip drawing upwards and inwards. So all movement emanates from that position. So just continue breathing and zipping there now. And today's Zoom is going to have a strong shoulder focus. So we'll get to work all parts of the body. Pilates being holistic, we want to do that. But a strong shoulder mobility focus. A small introduction to some strength. So I just want you to take your arms now out to the side of your shoulders here. Now imagine you're trying to touch both walls, both directions, making your arms as long as you can be. And out through the mouth as you lengthen. So there's a little softening on the in-breath. And on the out-breath, make your arms as long as you can. Breathing, soften. Breathe out, lengthen. I'm just going to show you a sideways version of that. Now, as you're lengthening your arms, if you can look at my arm position on the side, watch if the arms aren't back. If they're back, that's another exercise for another moment, and we'll more likely go there. But if this lengthening position is causing you stress and tension in the shoulders, we have to look at, generally speaking, it's for a lot of people in their posture, especially with this forward posture, that is too strong and it'll play out in the neck. So you might just have to adjust the arms slightly forward with your lengthening. So just have a little play with your arm position. And as you're doing that, just wanted to remind you that one of the purposes of the live Zooms that I want to bring to the live Zooms, let's just for now lower the arms and do a little shoulder roll, is I want to make it a little bit more educational. So in the academy, it's going to be all your basic Pilates programs, and there'll be other specialist stuff. But here I want to just take a little bit more time to break down a few movements and make it a bit more educational for you. So I hope you receive that out of today. Okay, so let's go back to our long arm position. Now I'm going to rotate the palms up. Let's get that length again. Breathe in, soften the shoulders. Breathe out, lengthen. Readjust the positioning of your arms if you need to. Just breathe in, soften. Breathe out, lengthen. Continue rotating. So we want this wrapping to be coming from the upper arm, so we're not just twisting our wrists. It's playing out through the whole upper arm, the humerus there, wrapping back. So this is stretching these muscles here. One more up, one more down. Let's lower the arms. Shoulder rolls. Breathe in, roll, and breathe out, back. Breathe in, roll. Breathe out, back. And other direction, right up to the ears, down, right up to the ears, and down. Relax the arms down. Now we'll just do one more in that arm position. Take the arms out, palms down. Just going to do these little circles. Circle, circle, lengthen circle. Keep your Pilates breathing. Keep your pelvic floor zipping happening. Circle, and let's reverse. Lengthen, circle. 3, 2, 1. Lower down, pause. Shoulder roll. Last one, arms out, palms up. Let's circle backwards first. Circle, circle, circle. 3, 2, 1. Pause. Other direction. Circle, circle. And 3, 2, 1. Lower down. Shoulder roll. So hopefully you got some nice length through there. Let's take arms at the front, beg your pardon. So we'll shrug the shoulders forward and shrug the shoulders back. Shrug the shoulders forward, shrug back. Keep going there. Shrug forward, shrug back. So when you shrug the shoulders back, we've just got to watch that we're not doing this bunching. So there'll be a continual theme around not shoulder bunching, because oftentimes, more often than not, people overwork the Pilates movement. So all we're trying to do here is, when we reach forward, is we open the back up, and we can even take that one step further by let's reaching through your wrists, drop your chin, curl your spine back. So we're drawing back through the tummy, and then you're going to restack the spine, shoulder roll, shrug. So there's our little shrug. We've just continued the length. Let's reach them away, curl the spine. Come on up and shrug back. So just add a little bit of spine stretching mobility there. Let's add one more of those. Reach. And shrug back. Little shoulder roll. So this restacking, so there's a lot of C-curving in Pilates, and in the academy we've got a breakdown of what that means. So it's this lovely lengthening of the spine. It's deep pelvic floor engagement. But, and on top of that, it's this restacking. You heard me say restack. So I'm restacking my spine nice and tall. So we're literally putting one vertebra on top of the other. Now this distinction of restacking is so important. It's working our postural muscles. So we've got our spine, our muscles that run all the way up, right up into the back of the neck. So what it's doing is teaching those muscles to switch on. So in relation to shoulders and neck, it's the whole spine that helps support this shoulder girdle. How you going there, Pauline?
Yeah, I'm feeling a lot better already.
Yeah, cool. Yes, great. Okay, we'll do one more with the straight arm version. So let's go back to that little reach forward, shrug back. Now we're going to take the arms out to the side, palms forward this time. Remember, not too high. It may be that your position is lower. So always look at range, what suits you. Now we're going to reach the wrists back. And we're getting this stretch through the breastbone. Keep your pelvic floor zip on. It's important that we don't overarch into the back. It's really important because we're actually not doing this overarching. We're lengthening the spine always. Oh, I sit on this little prop. I've done that before. And then you're going to imagine you've got a little string on your breastbone. And as well as reaching your wrists back, this little string is drawing your breastbone to the ceiling. So as far as shoulders and neck and all this region goes, we're getting this lovely stretch through the pecs, which is what we lack. Breathe in, zip. Deep breath in. And zip the tummy. A little bit taller if it's available. And then you're going to take the hands behind. Now, it depends on your shoulders. Roll them back. If you can, intertwine your hands behind your back. Draw the wrists away. This is all shoulder dependent, of course, if you've got issues. You might need to work at a low range, lift the spine, or you can draw the arms away. Lift, 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 lift. Breathing and zipping. And lower. And relax. Shoulder roll. Okay, so we'll do the gentle neck stretch. And then we'll make our way onto the mat there. So with the neck stretching, it's so important that we get the positioning of the spine right of the neck. So, you know, we've all got our text necks, right? So we want to actually, now there's a few variables on this as well. There's variables on everything. We want to just sort of push the chin back a little bit. We don't want to jam it back. We just want to go, what is the positioning of the skull? Okay, so we've got the skull that sits on the atlas, I think, and we're just trying to bring it back into position. So just do a little push back. Lengthen long through the fingertips. So where's that head position? And then we'll just take left ear to left shoulder, which is probably your right side, if you're mirroring me. So with your left ear down to your left shoulder, take your right fingers and walk them down a little bit. Not forcing, we want to just go to that first point of stretch. I've got a super, super tight neck. I've got some degeneration in my neck, so all of these exercises are really good for me. Then now from that position, gently take your eyes downward. So imagine you're looking down. If you're standing, you'd be looking at your toes or you're looking at your nipple. Slowly coming back to start, back to center to recheck our neck position, our head position, and then right ear to right shoulder. Your right, walk your left fingertips down and away. It might be just reaching out to the side. Hold your stretches for 30 seconds to 45. I've got a very poor concept of time, so I tend to just mostly go by feel and breath. And work on at least, if you're doing your home routines, just soften for a moment. Now you're taking your eyes down past your nipple or towards your nipple. If you're doing your own home routines, Just try and find a nice pattern that works for you, but at least 30 seconds. If you're really busy in the mind, that's really hard to do. Slowly releasing, coming back to center. Some of your deep yoga stretches go, for quite a lot longer than that. But let's just gently turn the head left and right, make sure there's no restriction there. Once again, checking the neck position. And then you're just going to just draw your chin down towards your chest. Take your hand on the back of your head. Not forcing, just stretching. Sometimes this stretchy chin to chest stretch may play out in the middle of your thoracic. You might feel a pulling in the middle of your back. And then just releasing. Without any tension you might be holding. Last one here for the neck. Bring both hands just below the collarbone here. You're sort of like drawing the skin down a little bit here. And then draw your chin to the ceiling. You might get a really tight skin feeling there. You can open your mouth and then reach your chin to the ceiling. Open, reach. It's not very pretty looking, doesn't matter. Open your mouth, reach your chin to ceiling. Last one. And releasing, lowering your chin, arms to the side. Hope your shoulders feel lovely and open and long. Mine actually feel really fantastic. We're going to come to the mat, but we'll come to kneeling position. Now, if you don't like kneeling on your knees, you can just stay seated. I'm going to get rid of my little block. So in kneeling position. So you can either do high kneeling, low kneeling. If you have any knee issues, if you've got your pillow, you can always put your pillow under your knees as well. Oh, I could have done this seated on the chair as well. Okay, so we go back to our little shrugs. We did forward back shrugs. I'm just going to do a little scissor here. A little bit more about mobilizing the thoracic this is. So you're just going to take your right arm up and go down low. Right arm up. Now, as it goes up, I want you to shrug that shoulder down. Your job's to keep them down the whole time. So maybe that arm doesn't go up so far. And back to start. So it's breathe in, one arm goes up, one arm goes down. Now reach through both wrists without the shrug. Pretty tricky. It's something we have to learn in Pilates. Back to start. Breathe in, open, but lengthen the arms. Breathe out, back to start. Breathe in, open. And back to start. Breathe in, open. Back to start. Now we're just going to go into some lovely circles here. Just going to breathe in, take both arms up. Breathe out, reach. Now find the length. Really work like we started with our straight arms. Find the length through your wrists. Breathe in, both arms up. And breathe out, lengthen, circle. I've got to work really hard with these arm circles because I've got a shoulder issue. So, yeah, I've got to just really focus on the positioning of my shoulder blades. One more there. A bit sick of hearing about my injuries. Breathe in, reach, breathe out. But I've got a ton of it. If you like your head pillow, I'm going to just change the screen while you're going to do that. Pretty good. position like that. Okay. That looks pretty good. Okay,
Yep.
So, depends on how forward posture your neck is. Like, check it out without a pillow or block. Like, if you can comfortably lay on your back without any neck support. I couldn't once, but I've improved my posture so much that I can. I just prefer a block. Okay, just that little bit more comfortable for me. Block/pillow. But it's always about comfort when you come to the mat. So you're going to have your knees bent, feet on the floor. And I want you to relax your arms out to the side. Palms up or palms down. I tend to like palms up because it tends to open the front of the body a little bit more. Let's walk your feet and knees together. Squeeze your ankles and knees. Breathe in, draw the knees and pelvis to one side. Breathe out, pelvic floor lips, squeeze the knees back to center. Breathe in, rotate over to the other side. Breathe out, squeeze back to center. Breathe in, rotate. Breathe out, squeeze back to center. So find that deep tummy. Every bit of movement's coming from the core. Back to center. One more over to the other side. Back to center. Okay, breath in, prepare. On the out breath, bring one knee at a time up to tabletop position, hands on your knees. So we're going to have a knee to chest stretch. Draw the knees in and just do a little rock side to side. So it gives you a nice little bit of, brings blood to the lumbar there. Should feel nice. Okay, bring one foot back at a time to the floor. Little pelvic tilts here. So breath in, prepare. Breath out and just tuck your pelvis and just reach your hips up to your ribs. So we're not lifting, it's just a tiny little tilt. Breathe in back to neutral where there's a little arch in your back. Breathe out, tilt. Hips towards the ribs, hips away from the ribs. So a lot of up, keep going there with your tilts, hips towards the ribs. So a lot of upper back problems comes from the lumbar, the lower back. So we want to mobilize the lower region in order to be able to mobilize the upper region. Once again, it's all interconnected. People are often amazed, they're coming with, upper back problems, but once we fix this area, oftentimes that pain just goes. So these little tilts are in the library and they play a very important role in what we do in Pilates. This mobilization of the spine and also this isolation of this region. Breathe out, tilt. Last one there. Back to neutral pelvis. So we've got that little arch in your back. Now we're going to go back to shoulders here, pressing the arms into the mat here. So palms up. I'm going to show you this position. So this is our A-frame position. A. That's a T. We might not get to a T today, but you're in an A-frame position on your mat. Okay, with the palms up, you're just going to press the backs of the shoulders into the mat. Breathe in, soften. Breathe out, press. Now we've got to try to, depends on how tight you are on that whole region, breathe out, press. We've got to try not to pop the ribs. So often I see this pressing and this popping. So there's a connect here of these front ribs. Breathe out, press. It's strong. We're not doing anything. We're just being strong in the back line. Now we're always core zipping as well. Breathe out, press. And press. Last one. And press. Excellent. Now we're going to take you into a pelvic curl. We generally have no block with that one. And our pelvic curl to bridge. So you must keep your shoulder pressed. That's stabilizing your shoulders and you're working your shoulders. Pressing into the feet. Breath in, prepare. Breathe out, little tilt of the pelvis. Pressing into the feet, start lifting your hips. So here's where we keep that shoulder press. Keep working those shoulders. Reach your thighs away. Breath in. And on the breath out, peel your spine down, one vertebrae at a time. And breathe in your pelvis back to neutral. Go again. Breathe out, tilt, peeling up, lengthening, through your hips. Breathing at the top. And peeling down. Continue there. I always do pelvic curl. It's an amazing exercise. On a what's it doing for your body level? You've got shoulder strength going on here, glutes and hamstrings, quad strength. You've got lengthening. Reach the thighs right out of the hips. It's lovely for hips. Breathe in and breathe out. You've got shoulder, neck issues. Check what's happening with the any tension there. You might need to just reposition your arms a little bit. And the next one we're going to hold up. A little bit of warmth building here. Breathe and zip. Breathe and zip. Watch your hips aren't too high. They're just in this lovely line. You're going to float your hands straight above your chest like we did earlier. Shoulders. Can we keep the shoulders plugged into the mat? Here's our scissor. Breathing as one arm goes back, one arm goes long. Keep them arms long. Breathe out back to start. Breathe in, open. Breathe out back to start. 2 more each direction. Breathe in, open your scissor. Lengthen through those wrists. Breathe out back to start. Breathe in, open. Should be feeling some heat in the glutes and the hamstrings. 1 more each. Back to 1 more. How you going there, Pauline?
Yeah, really good, thank you.
Always in all of our stretches. It's gone dark for some reason. In all of our stretches, keep your pelvic floor zip going. Clouds come over. Breath in, on the breath out, push that heel to the ceiling. And soften that knee and switch sides. Breathe and zip. No tension in the neck and shoulders. We've just detensed them, so keep them soft. And then soften that knee, roll that forward. We'll just do a little bit of abdominal section. So we're going to bring one knee at a time to tabletop. This is called your ab press. Both palms press on the front of both thighs. Breath in, prepare. And on the breath out, pelvic floor zip and press your palms into your legs. Breathe in, soften. Breathe out, press. Breathe in, soften. Breathe out, press. You can see nothing's moving here. We're just stabilizing. 1 more. Breathe out, press. Hands on knees, knees to chest. Rescue position or rest position. So it's really important that you learn when you're fatiguing or you just need that break and just take that break. Now, this time we're going to do 2 more sets of this with a little bit more awareness. Bring your knees back to tabletop position. So we have to watch the knees don't creep away from the hips because it causes back arching. Bring your awareness to your lumbar arch. So we did those tilts before. I want you to tilt your pelvis, flatten your back into the mat, and then untilt it, bring it back to a neutral position, which should be a little arch. 1 more, tilt your pelvis, draw your tummy. So this is called imprint. You're imprinting your spine into the mat and soften. I find it hard to talk when I'm doing that because I'm really drawing in my pelvic floor. So now we're going to do a set of ab presses with the tilt. Really switch on the tummy muscles. Palms on thighs, breath in. Breath out as you tilt your pelvis, flatten your back, and press and breathe. So much going on in Pilates. Breathe in, keep your press. Breathe out, press. Keep your pelvic press. Double press going on. 2 more, breathe out, press. Now, 1 more, breathe out, press. So it can be easier if you bring your knees in, but it can be harder if you keep your knees in position. Last one, knees to chest, little rock side to side. All right. Let's just take the knees and take them into a side twist all the way over to one side. And if it's available to you, you can bring your hand on the knee and draw it down. Your other arm, just make any adjustments where it's soft. And Pauline, you okay to go till about 8:10?
Yep.
Yeah, cool. All right, I'll do a couple of other positions with shoulders. 1 knee at a time, back to center, like a book, over to the other side. So nice spine mobilization. This is generally for the lumbar, but it also plays out a little bit into your thoracic, your upper shoulders. One knee at a time, back to center. Now we're going to come and lay on your right side. Well, my right side's facing the mirror here. And shoulders are stacked, hips are stacked, knees are in line with the hips here. So we always want to support the neck. I find with my dodgy neck, I tend to like to cup my head with my hands. There's a little hammock going on. We never want the neck sort of floating in space there. Okay, arm position straight out in front of us. Here's my breast line out the front here. Generally speaking, if there's too much playing out in the neck, generally speaking, the arm's too high. So keep it sort of breast line and lower. Now breathe in, just float your arm to ceiling. I want you to do a little shrug there. We're doing our shrugs before. Shrug the shoulder on the back. Now we maintain this integrity of the shoulder as we rotate the middle back backwards. So it's a thoracic rotation. And then when we get there, we lay the arm on the floor, if that's available to you. Hold for an in-breath. Connect the shoulder blade. And on the out-breath, the whole lot comes back as one unit. Back. So it's the same movement, but we've modified the shoulder position. Hold for in-breath. And on the out-breath, bring everything back, lower the elbow. If for some reason you've got a really bad shoulder, I want you just to rest your hand across your breast, and you can still do this little roll. Okay, so there's 3 options there. Let me go back to the first one. Breathe in, arm to ceiling, shrug the shoulder on the back, breathe out, rotate. Hold for an in-breath. Breathe out, bring everything back, lower the arm. We'll do 1 more like that. Breathe in, arm up, shrug the shoulder. Breathe out, rotate. So we're protecting the joint by keeping it strong. But each time we go back, we're trying to incrementally get a little bit closer to the mat with both shoulders. Breath in, breath out, bring it back, lower the arm. I'm going to stay in this position. I'm going to take the top leg long. We'll do a little bit of glute hip work while we're here. Give the shoulders a little bit of a rest. Okay, there's a little internal rotation of the toe and the knee. Relax the ankles. You don't want tension in the ankle. Take your top leg and reach it even longer. If you can, have a little gap under the waist. And we're just going to do these little taps. Let's go. Breathe out. Tap the toe down. Breathe in, lift. Breathe out, tap. Breathe in, lift. Breathe out, tap. Breathe out, tap. 3, and 2 and 1. Keep the leg up in line with your hip. Make it longer. Let's do a little pulse up. Pulse, pulse, pulse. And 4, 3, 2, 1, and lower the leg. Okie doke. Let's transition around to the other side. Stacked, shoulder stacked. I'll wait for you because I'm pretty fast on the mat. So
Yeah.
I know when I have to be aware of my filming as well because I like transition so quick. Trying to slow myself down. Hips stacked. It's a different world online, right? Neck's nice and supported. So remember our 3 arm position. There was one straight out the front. There was our chicken wings, or there was hugging the hand to the chest. Arm out the front. Breathe in, float the arm to ceiling. Shrug the shoulder back. Breathe out, rotate through the mid back. Hold for a nice in-breath. Connect the shoulder on the back. Breathe out. Bring the whole lot back as one unit. Lower the arm. 3 more of those. Breathe in, arm up. Breathe out, rotate. Two more. Breathe in, arm up. Breathe out, rotate. Breathe out, bring it back home. Last one. And lower. Okay. Oh, I've got a breast problem here, sorry. Okie doke. Now we're going to take our top leg long. Really reach that thigh bone out of the hip. We did our breath in. On the breath out, tap the toe down. Breathe in, lift. Breathe out, tap. Breathe in, lift. So it's all about the core. Breathe out, tap. And getting length. Hip, maybe a bit of glute. Depends on the positioning of your leg. Breathe out, tap. Breathe in, lift. 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 One more. Breathe out, tap. Breathe in, lift. Hold it up. Keep it long. Long through the hip and pulse up. Pulse, pulse, pulse. And 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bend the knees together. I'm going to transition onto our hands and knees now. Okay. So those of you that have good wrists, not me, you're going to spread your hands. Really, it distributes the weight on the mat really well, okay? So we then want the wrists directly under the shoulders. So they're not forward of the shoulders, they're directly under the shoulders. The knees are directly under the hips. Draw up the tummy. So this is a strong position. So let's think about our shoulders here now. I want you just to sort of drop your breastbone down towards the mat and then push your breastbone away from the floor. While you're doing this, you're not collapsing the neck. You're long from crown of the head to tailbone. So you're going to collapse the shoulders. So think of the shoulders drawing together and then push. So you're pushing the floor away. You're not going into a big back arch. It's just shoulders, shoulder work here. Shrug and draw them back. Shrug. Do you need any more cues on that, Pauline? Are you okay?
No, I think that last instruction was the ticket. Yeah.
And it's shrug. And it's shrug back into position like we did earlier on. I'm going to adjust my wrists. But there's always a different modification if you need to. Wrists, it's everything in fact. 2 more. Shrug down. Shrug back into neutral position. It's really a collapse and back. Now keep the strong position. You can feel how strong it is just by not even doing anything here. We've got the shoulders working. Draw up the tummy. We're going to do a little cat stretch. Breath in. On the breath out, draw your navel to ceiling. Drop your chin to chest. So it's like you're trying to look up at your tummy. Breathe in, back to neutral spine. So this is our neutral here. I tend to be a little bit lordotic, which means too curvy. If I was really going to be neutral, you see how I dump there? I don't want you to do that either. So that's really more my neutral there. So let's go breathe out and we tuck. Draw the navel up. Breathing back to neutral, strong all fours position. 2 more with cat stretch. A yoga inspired stretch done the Pilates way. Breathing back to neutral. You see me constantly fiddling with my wrists. And last one, ouch. Now breathing back to neutral. So you're going to take, now we're going to have a glute stretch here. You're going to take your left knee towards your left wrist and walk your back leg back. Now, if you've got any knee issues, this may not be the one for you. You might need to lay on your back. You can wing the knee out a little bit to the side, come down to the elbows. So basically that left knee, just make it as comfortable as you can. If it's available to you, you're going to bring your forehead down on the mat and hold your pigeon stretch. That's another yoga inspired stretch, which I love. Now, any of you that stay with that stretch, I'm going to show you your alternative. If you don't like that, you would know this is your standard glute stretch, which is one ankle over the other knee, drawing the knee in. Okay, so that's your pigeon alternative. I'm going to go back to the pigeon. I like it. Use your hands. Okay, slowly coming out of that. Now we're going to come onto our tummies from this position. We're just coming over onto your tummies here. So we want to really wiggle your pubic bone into the mat. So we're going to stay with shoulders themed. Any of our back extension, our postural work, it's all related to the shoulders as well. So, so that said, you get your pubic bone anchored. You're going to take your forehead down on the mat, and you're going to bring your palms in line of your boobies, say. Like you're going to do a little push up here. But with your forehead down, breath in, and on the breath out, I just want you to hover the hands off the mat. It's just a hover, and the elbows are drawing down to your hips and lower. So it's just breathe out, pelvic floor zip, hover, and lower. Continue there. So you're bringing your shoulder blades slightly together and reaching your elbows to your hips. So it's that mid-back work that we want. You're really tight across the pecs, front chest. It's really hard to get the elbows right back. Two more. Last one. And then lower. Then take your arms out to what's called cactus or goalpost arms. So it's just that 45-degree angle there. Now, if you've got tight hips, like me, you have to really wiggle your pubic bone into the mat. And you might even need to take your legs a little bit wider if you've got no back issues. Legs together is fine. That's just my modification for that condition. Keeping your forehead down to start with, if I just talk with my head up, I want you to press your elbows into the mat and draw the shoulders back. That's all it is. Breath in, prepare. Breathe out. Press the shoulders, press the elbows, draw the shoulders back. Breathe in, pause and soften. Breathe out, elbows, shoulders back. So you can feel that strong, even without doing anything. Breathe in, soften. Breathe out, shrug those shoulders back. Draw them to your hips. Upper body, it's like you're trying to reach your breastbone slightly towards the front of the mat. Breathe out, lower. Breathe in, lift, and lengthen through the crown of the head. And breathe out to lower. Breathe in, lift and lengthen. Now there should be no pain in your lumbar spine. So yeah, generally speaking, if there is, back extension can be a little bit problematic for lumbar back. Keep going if you're going well with that, and I'll just talk about that. So it's breathe in to lift, breathe out to lower. So generally speaking, if there's pain playing out in the lumbar, it's oftentimes to do with the pelvic positioning. You might need to really press your pubic bone into the mat to get more length in the lumbar. 9 times out of 10, it's about a lack of deep abdominal engagement. It means that you're initiating and moving from your QLs, which is your quadratus lumborum, which is your lower back muscles. Okay, so we want to initiate from the deepest core. So go back to your Pilates principles, and that'll be what it is. 2 more. Breathe in, lift and lengthen. So this is our first level back extension, which we want to master before we create any more progressions. Keep those shoulders back. Last one. Breathe in, lift and lengthen. And relax. Hands under your shoulders. Big strong push up back to rest position, which is bottom back onto your heels. Arms long. If you need to modify this, you might take your knees wider, or you might need to lay on your side. Okay, curling up to seated position here. So we've got a couple more minutes. We'll just have a little wind down before we completely wrap up. So you can lay on your back. I'm going to stay seated, and feel free to sit. I'm just going to do a little bit of mindfulness before we finish. But yes, by all means, lay down, blanket, pillow, seated position. I'm going to grab water before we start. And we'll just do 3 to 5 minutes before we finish. And whatever position you're in, softly close down the eyes, and we're going to run a mental scan through the body and check to see how the body feels after our routine today. Make sure you're nice and Pilates aligned, whether you're laying down, sitting down. Remember the weight in the sit bones. Just imagine a scanning light coming down from the top of your head. It's going to slowly scan through your body. And the purpose and intention of this is just for you and the scan to find any tensional tightness that might be sitting in the body that you need to finally release by the end of our session today. Just imagine that scan running down now across your forehead, coming down towards your eyebrows, through your hairline, softening and relaxing, allowing any tension to leave this area. It travels down through your eye sockets, your cheekbones, through your jawline, your lips, your chin. And as it scans, it completely softens. It runs down the front of your throat, the back of your skull, the back of your neck, all the way softening through the shoulders, the upper shoulders. We've done a bit of work on shoulders today. And as that scan is doing its work, a gentle reminder to give yourself permission to completely release tension in your body, relax and let it go. Allow that scan to travel down the shoulders, the backs of the arms, the fronts of the arms, rib cage, front and back, lower back, abdominal, spending a moment in the abdominal region, the area where we hold emotions, the physical body and the emotional body stored here. Accepting what's there, not judging, allowing that scan to travel down the hips now, the glutes, front back of the legs, the thighs. Now allow the knees to soften through to the calves and ankles and toes. As the scan makes a reverse upwards, one last final check up through the calves and knees, thighs, hip region, abdominals, back, rib cage, front and back. Spending an extra moment around the shoulders and neck. Just reminding ourselves of the intention we set today. With the shoulder and neck focus. Anytime throughout your day today, if you feel the tension in this area rising, just bring yourself back to this moment and what you've learned today. Through the neck, as that scan makes its way all the way through your face and forehead and top of your skull. And to bring your awareness back to the room, back to your body on the mat, raising your awareness to my voice once more. Just creating a little movement in your fingers and toes. And then bring your awareness fully back, and when you're ready, opening your eyes. Welcome back. So I hope you've enjoyed this session today. I'm going to post it on a few media platforms, in particular the Academy. I'll make a note that it's a little bit around shoulder mobility and lengthening. So if you're having trouble sorting, you should be able to identify that. Not quite where I'm going to put it yet. I'll clearly identify it. So come back and do any of the shoulder work anytime you want. Thanks for joining me today. It's been fantastic. I'll see you next time.
Thank you.
Stop the recording.